That problem is solved by borrowing. Just like you can't spend more than your income unless you borrow that extra. So the government borrows. But the ability of the United States to function, to spend all that money, assumes there'll be people to lend. The Greek government discovered the problem earlier this year. They wanted to run their usual mammoth deficit. But the lenders who normally lend to Greece said, no, we're not lending you anymore. Well, why not? Well, the lenders said, we don't trust you. The government of Greece was mortally offended. We're trustworthy, we pay back. Oh, it's not you we don't trust. It's your people won't let you pay us. Because a day is going to come when the Greek people say, let's see now, you're taking away the teachers, the hospitals, the roads, in order to pay foreign bankers interest. That's not going to happen. And if you're the Prime Minister of Greece who does that, you won't be the Prime Minister of Greece too long. And we'll throw you out and we'll vote in somebody who runs on the platform, we will not sacrifice Greek children for foreign bankers. A winning proposal. And the lenders aren't stupid. They see it coming. And when they see it coming, they say to the Greek government, okay, you got two options. Option number one, we'll lend you money, but because you're risky, your people might really screw you and us in the bargain, you're going to have to give us much more interest than you used to. Today, right now, bonds on the Greek government, which you can buy on the international market, pay something on the order of 11%. Bonds of the German government, same euro currency, pay 3.5%. Whoa, that's the premium, the riskiness of Greece. So the lenders went and said, you either have to give us higher interest, or you've got to set aside a special fund of money that has no other function in a special account that we will monitor, and it will be used to pay interest and repay us. And here's how you're going to get that money, government of Greece. You're going to tax your people more and put it in that account. And you're going to cut services to the Greek people. And you're going to take the money you save by not providing services and also put it in that account, and that's going to be used to pay us back. So either you pay us more interest, or you set up such an account, and by the summer of this year, they said to the Greeks, you got to do both those things. And the Greek government said, yes, we'll do it. And they are in the process of doing it. They are in the process of doing it. So the question would rise, doesn't it? If the United States is the biggest borrower in the world, which we are, the biggest debtor country in the world, which we are, if we're running deficits now in excess of $1 trillion a year, which we are, is it a limitless amount of lending out there? No one's ever going to wonder whether here in the United States there might develop a movement that would look upon the government and say, let's see now, you're cutting education, and you're cutting hospitals, and you're cutting road maintenance, and you're laying off thousands of workers in order to pay off the bankers who you just rescued from their incompetent speculation that forced a deep recession on us. Is that right? Not good to run on that platform.
They are.
The question is, but you know, this question, I know this question is discussed not very many blocks from here by the people who are lenders. They are worried about the United States. And when they saw the announcement this morning that we're going to have an even bigger deficit because of what those quote unquote morons in Washington are doing, that was the quote. By the way, this is a term for Republicans and Democrats alike. This is not, that's not what they wanted to see. They're getting worrieder, more and more worried about the United States itself becoming what Greece was. And by the way, this allows me to talk a little bit about that because it was one of the other topics. So let me turn a little bit to Europe and particularly to Ireland because of what happened since the last time we met. Ireland is a little different from Greece. Here's the important difference. In Greece, what happened was many, many years of what you just saw in Washington, what we started off with tonight. Greece, like all capitalist countries, all, is constantly tempted, this is a contradiction of this system. The politicians are always tempted by a fundamental dysfunction. Business and the rich want the government to serve them and not tax them. Hardly surprising. The mass of people have exactly the same objective. They want the government to provide them and not tax them. This puts politicians in an awful fix. From the rich and the business, they need the money to run politics. From the mass of people, they need the votes. How are they going to navigate this dilemma? Solution. Give both sides what they want, tax neither of them to pay for it, and solve the problem by borrowing the difference. It's very good. Why? The mass of people don't know exactly what's going on. They at least don't have the taxes, and they keep getting the services. They're happy. The rich are equally happy because they're getting what they want. They don't pay, but they get a little extra bonus. The money they don't pay in taxes is the money they lend to the government for the deficit. That's why rich people don't mind deficits. They win twice. What you don't, if the government wants to get money to pay for its programs, it could go to the rich and business and tax them. It doesn't do that. Instead, it borrows the money from them. At this point, if we had time, I would again play the national anthem. If you can understand what I just told you. A deficit is a service to the rich. I'll give you a calculation, very simple, to illustrate. Okay? In the United States, there is this thing. Merrill Lynch, and in conjunction with a couple other firms, keeps a tab on the richest people in the United States. They actually keep a tab on the richest people around the world. These people have a name, HNWI, high net worth individuals. Okay, high net, I didn't make this up.
No,
I'm just reporting. What is a, by the way, in case you find this sexy, there is a UHNWI, which stands, I didn't make this up either, ultra high net worth. See that? You either cry about this system or you laugh. You have to, one or the other. If you do neither of them, you need help. Okay, so high net worth individual. What is a high net worth individual? That is a citizen of the United States who has at least $1 million or more dollars in his or her stock portfolio. Ultra high net worth is a person who has 30 million or more. That's the difference. Okay? How many high net worth individuals in the United States were there in 2009, the last year for which we have numbers? 2.9 million. In other words, less than 1% of the population in the United States are high net worth individuals. Okay? Just stay with me with the numbers. The total amount of their stock portfolios in 2009 was about $12.7 trillion. Let me make sure you understand. High net worth is only references to your stock portfolio. It doesn't count the house you have, the car you have, the jewelry you have, the art collection, or anything else.
Not bonds either.
Just your, no, stocks and bonds, your stock and bond portfolio. Okay? This amount, 12.7. So what was the deficit? The amount of money that the government had to borrow to stimulate the economy in 2009. Deficit was about 1.3 trillion. Okay? Total wealth of less than 1% of the population. Total stock and bond wealth, not their homes. Total deficit. So here we go. If we had applied as a nation a 10% tax on the stock and bond portfolios of the HNWI population. It would have left them with their house untouched, their income untouched, their valuables untouched, their car untouched. And their stock and bond portfolio would have dropped to a mere 90% of what it had been the year before. If we had taxed them the 10% of 12.7, it's about that amount. There would have been no deficit at all. No interest to pay, no great crisis to worry about, nothing to run your election on, no deficit at all. We would have gone to the richest less than 1%. The other 99% of you wouldn't have been touched by this.